Hey everyone, I wanted to finally do an actual video, full-on video about my record player. So this is an Audio-Technica, um, oh gosh, you can see it here, in fact, the AT-LP12XUSB, because Audio-Technica is great at naming things, and that's not a mouthful whatsoever. This is probably what I would say is the most entry turntable you can get that's a real turntable. I think below this, because they have like the ones like the 60, I think, of Audio-Technica, and then there's some other like similarly priced, similar level turntables. But I think really anything lower than this is more like a toy than an actual record player. This record player I got because it can grow with you. Um, this particular model, the 120X, has a USB output that you could record to digital your vinyl. Now that's a cool feature. I have never used it. I will probably never use it because I don't care. But it's there, and if that matters to you, cool. I believe new about 2 years ago, this was $160-ish, I think. It was somewhere in the hundreds. Or maybe like low 200s. I can't quite remember, but it wasn't expensive, but it also wasn't like, just throw it around the money because it's super cheap. I mean, it's something you have to think about, but as far as turntables go, the sky's the limit on that. So this was pretty good. I like this particular turntable because, one, I like the design. I think it looks a lot like the Technics table, which is a way better table. The Technics, was that like SL2000 or something? I can't quite remember that. You all know which Technics I'm talking about. So it obviously took inspiration from that turntable. And it's kind of a DJ style, which isn't my favorite thing, but I think it's primarily so black and muted that I don't really think of it as, DJ or hip hop exclusive. The quality is the only thing I have, some problems with. The features I think are great, but the quality has something to be desired. This acrylic lid, it goes up and down, but it kind of scares me. Those little hinges at the back are not that strong or thick, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to snap it off someday. All of these buttons are just oh god, everything just feels kind of cheap and slapped on there. Now, that said, this is fairly robust and strong, the speed adjustment, so it kind of clicks in at the center line and has some resistance to it, but it kind of drags and scrapes. The buttons, again, don't sound great. This wobbles around before it actually turns on. It's fine. That said, oh, and also extremely hollow and plasticky sounding because it's hollow and plasticky. And the arm itself is kind of light. It's not the most robust. So it definitely has some corners cut, shall we say, to make it this level and this price. But with that in exchange, you get a pretty good table. You get a table that has a felt mat. It has quartz lock. It can do 33, 45, and 78 RPM. It has your weight adjustment, your tracking adjustment. You can so weight tracking weight, your left and right shift, and you can do any minute speed adjustments you want, and you can adjust your stylus and line it up. So you get all the adjustments you need. And this table has on the back output at line or output at phono. So it has an internal phono preamp that you can just then plug this into any amplifier you want, which is what I'm doing currently. But it does let you, if you want to in the future, upgrade to a standalone phono preamp, like a Shit Manny or a Project 2 box or whatever. It also has this head system that you can take off the head and put a completely different shell and stylus on there. And it comes with the AT something something. What's the stylus? So the Z VMZ. What was it? Oh my gosh, what is this stylus? The VM N95SH was the upgraded head I put on here. I think the stock one is just the VMN95, which is what's actually in this box. This is the original stylus that came with this turntable, which is a pretty normal, I think it's a linear stylus or a ball stylus. It's pretty good, but the head it comes in has so many different stylus options that you can get linear and Shibata, which is the most expensive. I have that Shibata head on there. That Shibata stylus just refers to the actual like physical geometry of the little point that rides in the grooves of your turntable of your record. And the different geometries can play a factor into how heavy you press it in and out, which can determine how much you wear on the vinyl itself, and to some extent how good the contact is. Does it make a difference? Yes, I can tell a difference with the different styluses, but that said, it's fairly minor, and I would only suggest this upgrade if you've really experienced this table for a long time and want more, because that stylus is almost as much as the entire table for a very small difference. Now, my other upgrades where I changed the felt to an actual like handmade, I think that's deer leather, that I got from a guy on Amazon. He had a little tiny note in it too saying, you know, I wish you the best, hope this makes your turntable sound better. So it's kind of nice of him. So that's nice because the felt that came with this was super duper bent and was like this all the time and moved your speaker or moved your tracker up and down, your arm up and down with the vinyl. And I added this extra weight and a little bubble level here to make sure that the speaker, or I keep saying speaker, that the vinyl is held as flat as possible and that this is always level. This has adjustable feet on it that also let you help level it out to make sure that you're getting a nice even track. That said, the feet are also a little chintzy feeling, and I don't like it. And then this here, this is just your adapter for your different RPM speeds. You can put into your singles. I don't use that because I don't really have any singles laying around, but if you cared, there it is. So all in all, this is a great sounding turntable with all of the features you really need to upgrade going forward. It can level out, it can adjust the weight, it can adjust the tracking in and out, and you can upgrade your stylus, you can upgrade your head, you can upgrade your mat, you can upgrade your preamp. So it can grow with you. I'm getting to the point though where I think this is about the limit of what this can do, and I really kind of want a better table. Because I will say the major problem this thing has is because it feels so kind of cheap when you touch everything, it really just makes you feel bad when you touch it. And a turntable is a physical object. And I mean that in not just the it exists in the world, but like it is an object you inherently must interact with. And a huge part of why I think people like vinyl is because listening isn't exclusively an auditory experience. It isn't just your ears. I think when you go to a concert, right, the world is a little different every time, and you have the different lights and the people in front of you and behind you and to the side, and you hear them and see them, and you dress up in fancier clothing if you're going to like an orchestra, or you get all excited for the rock concert and get into your your metal shirt to support the band, and it puts you in this mind space, this headspace that changes the music because some of it is psychosomatic. And I think having a turntable is really what gets us a little bit closer to that at home, because you have to, every time you want to play music, you have to physically interact with it, and you have to watch this table spin around, and it changes your perspective, at least just a little tiny bit. And I think we at least subconsciously kind of like that a little more than we know. And so I think interacting with the table is extremely important. And I think this one, where it really falls flat, is how cheap the physical contact is. All the buttons and switches and the cheap, chintzy sound it makes it an underwhelming experience when you actually have it. Now, it looks beautiful. From a distance, it looks great. And I've had lots of friends come over and they're like, oh my gosh, that turntable looks so cool and it looks so fancy. And, you know, that kind of goes away when I tell them to click the buttons. So, you know, I love it. It's a great turntable. I think it looks great on the shelf. It can have pride of place here for right now. I think it matches my whole aesthetic, the kind of dark aesthetic I got going on. And while my speakers have kind of changed, I'll get my totems back out, and they're black, and so they'll match again. But for now, I think this is a great starter table. I think anyone who doesn't know if they like vinyl yet should buy this first, or something similar, but really honestly, I love this. Everyone loves it. It's been highly reviewed by a lot of different websites, a lot of different people on YouTube. It's well known. Every problem it has been solved in a forum at some point, I'm certain. It gives you all the basics you need and all the adjustments you need to really get a good working turntable that can actually properly play a record and not damage it. Don't buy cheap tables that ruin your records, please. But I think after you have tried this, or if you already have a different table that you've known for a while, you really should start thinking about like a $500 or $600 table, something that's a little more heavy duty and a little better feeling. That's my review of the Audio-Technica stupid blah 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 blah, blah name. AT-LP12XUSB. Why couldn't they call it anything different? All right. Thanks, guys. See you in the next one.